morning, everybody. Welcome to the Outlook. Joined as always by Shadow W. Jr. Raymond Lyons. I'm going to get straight to it. The Sixers beat the Washington Wizards tonight, 129-112. The Chris, ladies and gentlemen, Chiefs winning 4 games to 1. Yeah, I know John Holden, you already tuned in early. We're going to get to you just a little bit later. That said, Ray, can I ask you opening thoughts off tonight's game?
Yeah, defense, fouling, and turnovers. You know, just wasn't a clean game at all for Washington. You know, they started off okay. I mean, they were attacking. You know, I'm guessing their eyes just got big, seeing that Embiid wasn't out there. You know, they were going at him to begin the game, but you know, I feel like they had the feeling that that's all they had to do to win. You know, but the same issues that plagued them the whole season was still there. You know, the defensive rotations weren't solid. You know, they were giving up open shots. You know, unfortunately for Philly in the early going, they just weren't making them. But the law averages kicked in and those shots started falling later on. You know, Washington, they attacked the paint. You know, they did what they could, man, but you know, the inconsistencies just showed up. You know, they couldn't defend without fouling. They put Philly on the line way too much. The turnovers, as I said, you know, we reverted back to passive Rui. You know, that's something that we have been talking about the whole series. You know, he needs to just get more involved and be more aggressive. You know, because it's not like he wasn't shooting the ball well. Like his efficiency was off the charts. You know, when the ball's going in like that, nobody's gonna blame you for getting up more shots. But you know, it is what it is, man. But you know, just this game kind of mirrored game 1 to me a little bit. You know, in that game, they got Embiid in early foul trouble, got him off the floor, which is paramount for the Wizards. But you know, game 1, Tobias Harris went crazy, kept him in the first half. This game, of course, Embiid wasn't playing. They let Steph Curry have a career night. You know, if your goal is if you have a chance to play without having to deal with Embiid, then you can't let another player make up for the damage that he was going to do anyway. It defeats the purpose. I think the game really got out of their hands when Gafford sat for that long stretch in the third quarter. You know, outside of him, it's no resistance in the paint. And Philly smelled that. Ben Simmons just imposed his will on them in every way. You know, he just put in his mind that nobody could guard him, and he just went in there and did what he did. But yeah, man, you know, it's a fitting end to their season, so to speak, because you know, the things that doomed them this game were some of the things that had been giving them problems the entire season. So, you know, they got a lot to focus on this offseason. Be interesting to see what they do from a personnel standpoint. They can't miss in the draft. Yeah, they got to figure some things out. But yeah, congrats to Philly, man. Of course, hope Joel can get a speedy recovery. You know, he had a small meniscus tear. So yeah, who knows what that's going to do for them moving forward? Because you know, as they move on, they're definitely going to need him to be who he is. But given that injury, I don't know how effective he's going to be. But yeah, man, good season all in all. You know, got to the playoffs, got a game off the 1 seed, and we'll just see how it goes next year. You know, to get Thomas Bryant back, get Denny back, so things are going to look a little different. Pretty sure Gafford's going to have this experience was good for him. This is the most he's played in his short stint in the league. So yeah, man, we'll see how it goes.
Cardell?
Yeah, I feel like Washington, you know, had them on their heels a little bit in the first quarter, but then Tyrese Maxey came in and gave them the joke that they needed. Playing well beyond his years, so you know he looked way more poised and savvy than being a rookie first time in the playoffs. And once he came in, hit some shots, and you know, honestly, I knew he could score, but his defense is already good. You know what I mean? Like whoever's been coaching him, teaching him, sets and tendencies of players in the NBA. They've done a great job because he's already a two-way threat. You know what I mean? And in his limited role, he's definitely gonna see his role increase next year. But I felt like he gave them the joke that they needed. Then everybody else kind of woke up and went from there. Uh, he finished with 13.6 rebounds, 0 turnovers on 6 of 14 shooting from the field. Couldn't ask for anything more in a closeout game for a rookie at home. Rookie was more. I mean, Rui was more aggressive than the first few games. In this type of game on the road, they needed him. Like I said, he had to get up 20 plus more shots. You know what I'm saying? I know he got 21 points and 6 rebounds, or he had 13 shooting, but Tobias had 28, 9, and 6. You see what I'm saying? That's the level he got to understand what he got to get to understand the type of game that they're in. They're in the do-die game on the road without their best player. Be aggressive. Be way more aggressive. Get shots up. Especially when Russ and all them and Bill being all. I understand Bill's the second leading scorer in the league, so he's gonna get his shots regardless. But no disrespect to Russ in this series, he should have been more facilitator, and Rui should got the rest of those shots. To try to balance out the scoring that they needed to try to make this more competitive. And it is what it is. Russ and Bill for the most part were good. I just think they in the fourth quarter once Philly turned it up defensively, fatigue set in, and that was it. That was all she wrote, and they couldn't really recover from that. Tobias Harris outside last game, he was amazing all series, man. He had his way. You know what I mean? He did what he should do. He thoroughly outplayed Rui, had him on his heels, had him on the ropes on both ends, and he did his thing. Steph Curry finally woke up. I think they said he had about 46 points in the first 4 games. In this game, he came back 30. 10 to 17 shooting. 3 to 6 from the 3-point range, 7 to 7 from the line. I know they started Neto, but Steph Curry didn't see Neto. He ain't seen anybody for that matter. But Neto, he definitely didn't see him. He shot over him and made shots, did what he had to do. The turnovers, man. Turnovers we've been talking about all season. Killed Wizards, man. Philly only had 8, which is not bad for a team that has a big man supposedly trying to play point guard. You would think they would be able to turn them over more, but he controlled the game. That's why he's the point guard at 6'11". Whereas on the Wizards side, they had 15, and I believe, what was it? Yeah, 9 of the 15 came from Bill and Russ. Your all-star backcourt. It just can't happen. We've already touched on that, man. With the ball in their hands so much, you understand a few turn like 2 or 3, but once you start getting above that, man, you just hope another team beats you, man. So, and against Philly, you can't do that, especially the way they can get out and run and shoot the ball even without Embiid. I also think another big thing was bench scoring. The others, Philly bench 40 points, the Wizards 19. And that's including the garbage time, when Scott Brooks waved the white flag and got the reserves in, they just scored here and there. For the most part, Philly dominated them. And most of the game, Philly was in the 30-point range, and the Wizards was in the single digits. You see what I'm saying? So the Wizards didn't get much help from their bench. Obviously, with Bertans out, but still, he struggled on the road regardless if he was there or not. And the Wizards defended with their hands, which is as usual. They put Philly on the line. Everybody questioned Ben Simmons' free throw shooting. He shot 5 or 8, which meant you couldn't really do the Hacker Simmons thing. And Lord knows, Dwight Howard, he came in shooting 57% on the year. He went 8 for 10 from the line. When that happens, it is what it is. You know where it's headed, man. That took away a major strategy to stop the clock and try to get points on the board with those guys. So, or get extra possessions so they can get points on the board. So, it is what it is. And then the full quarter defense from the Sixers, man, they closed them out. They did what you would like the home team to do in this situation. They held the Wizards to 7 points total with 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. That was game. You know what I mean? Like the Wizards couldn't score. So once that happened, I knew what it was. I knew the Wizards wouldn't be able to come back, and they just kept their foot on their neck and finished them off, man. So all in all, impressive win for Philly without Embiid. Washington came out on fire. Philly took the blow. Came back with them and started rocking Wizards and obviously finished them off, man. So kudos to them. They move on. We'll see what happens when Embiid, because he's the difference maker, man. Right now they're gonna play the winner of the Hawks and the Knicks. It look like the Hawks, about to take out the Knicks right now. They have 98-86 with a minute left. So they're gonna need Embiid, because the Hawks they're deep in the front court, bunch of athletic, long, big active guys, man. You know what I'm saying? So without Embiid, and it's more of an even series with Embiid. If he can withstand the pain and be Embiid like we saw here in Washington, Philly should handle business.
I don't have too much to add. I feel like you guys pretty much got it. For everyone else wondering, and oh yeah, we'd rather deal with the team that got Ben Simmons. Kind of gave y'all a masterclass on what Ben Simmons been doing this year. You got everything you wanted and more. It was a couple of times you saw him looking at Dwight Howard. And I'm not sure if Dwight was looking down at Ben or Ben was looking Dwight eye to eye. Not quite sure, again, which makes it even more impressive. He controlled the tempo. Like Cardell mentioned, Maxey came in the game and, man, like, supercharged them. And once he got everybody going, that was that. And defensively, man, I was tweeting through the game. I had so many tweets that I deleted, like, because they kept doing more things defensively. It was so fun to watch them in the passing lanes, being active. Like, you're getting around screens and still all up in the passing lanes. There was that play in the third quarter. I think Ben got a hand on it, chasing Beal around the screen. Again, 6'10", 6'11", 240, chasing Beal around screens, gets a hand in there, deflects the ball, tries to save it. Maxey comes out of left field and dives to go get it. The kid doesn't get it. But again, everyone's, especially everybody overlooks defense to a degree, and they're excited about how aggressive teams are offensively. Man, we watched a team punch with their defense tonight, and that's what blew this game open and kind of ended it. They kept punching with their defense. Every time Washington thought about doing something, no. And like we've seen throughout the series, we've seen throughout this year, and even kind of some of us brought up throughout the year, like you get to the playoffs. Yeah, Brad had 30, but it wasn't a fun 30. It wasn't an easy 30 at times. There was times you hitting fadeaways, and kudos to him. There's a reason he was the second leading scorer in the league, and that speaks volumes to that. Hitting incredibly tough shots, but he wasn't open. Those are tough contested shots, and you can't, with his size, you're only going to hit so many of those. They got 2-3 people in them. You're trapping them with 6'9", 6'10", whatever, and again, Cardell always says this. Other folks just got to play basketball. They got caught not playing basketball. There's 5 people on the floor. There's 3 going to 1 person. He somehow gets the ball out of his hands. And if they all got time to get back, because people ain't either ready or confident enough to catch and shoot, put the ball on the floor and put pressure to force an additional rotation, or just scary as a whole, a defense like that, the ball's not getting back to Brad. And then they know whoever it is, the guy, the secondary person, he's not beating them to the basket or anything. It was tough. And for Gaff, big game, last game. And this today was another example of what we talked about. He's a baby. Being disciplined enough to stay in the game. He struggled with it today. What was it, 3 fouls in the first half? And we didn't see him all the way until what I think 10 and change in the fourth.
Mm-hmm.
The game was decided mostly in the third. Philly came out and was like, all right, it's time to separate. And kudos to Seth Curry for what he did. But like you guys said, man, it was a 1 seed handling business. Seems to be a theme tonight. There's a lot of elimination games going on tonight. So far tonight, you got 2 teams that took care of business, ready to move to the second round for Washington. As we said the other night, interesting offseason, man, full of nothing but decisions. You got a nice little reality check, figure out where you're at. But I think it's apparent that others got to step up. And again, there's no need to keep rehashing things that we've been saying for all year long. But kudos to them for making the playoffs, fighting through the adversity they had this year. But there's work to be done to get where they would like to go. I guess that's my nicest way of saying it. Before we get to the comments, obviously. There's this thing we do. We have the probe series. Cardell does a great job with that. So tonight we're going to play this for you guys. Hopefully it's not too sore for some of y'all because I know it just happened. But this was more so for the, Ben Simmons doesn't impact the game, folks. And go ahead and check that out. Get back, have a word from Uz and Oz. Get to some comments, some prepared comments. get to some of y'all's live comments. And again, thanks for tuning in, whether it be Twitter, Facebook, IG, or YouTube.
In this episode of The Probe, we take a look at Sixers point guard, point forward, whichever term you feel is appropriate, Ben Simmons. What I know is he's a player and a highly effective one. He receives a lot of criticism for his lack of shooting from the perimeter. Many feel because of it, the Sixers will never reach their full potential as a team. I disagree. Many teams have won championships with their lead guard not being a great shooter. The 2008 Celtics with Rondo and even Magic Johnson through the early to mid stages of his career come to mind. Sixers head coach Doc Rivers has done a great job of putting shooters around Simmons while putting Simmons in positions on the floor where he is always a threat. It's no coincidence that he's found a way to make Simmons an offensive threat at all times, seeing as how he was the head coach of that 2008 Boston Celtics championship team. With Simmons being 6'11", 240, the options are endless for Rivers to utilize Simmons and make him a constant threat. Let's get started. Ben Simmons is being defended by Russell Westbrook. Simmons dribbles towards Seth Curry, looking to get into the paint. Simmons waves Curry out the way, leaving space for him to attack Westbrook. Simmons dribbles into the paint using his 6'11", 240-pound frame to bump Westbrook back under the basket, scoring inside. Westbrook is a big, strong point guard at 6'3", 210, but Simmons is a point guard in a center's body. Tough to stop inside. Simmons is moving up the floor. Brad Beal picks him up. Simmons seen land out of the paint and at the top of the key focus on a trailing Embiid, drives right at Beal and hits the runner. Again, Simmons utilizing his advantage with the size and athleticism to score over the Wizards' smaller backcourt. This is what makes Simmons special. He can literally defend 1 through 5. Here Simmons is on an island defending Brad Beal, one of the best scorers in the NBA. Beal drives right, Simmons slides his feet and stays with him, blocking Beal's layup attempt, resulting in the ball going out of bounds off Beal in the process. Great one-on-one defense. Simmons has established himself as one of the best defenders in the league, and plays like this shows why. Simmons once again is bringing the ball up the floor. This time, instead of attacking Beal, he goes hunting for an easier matchup with Davis Bertans. Knowing Washington will switch, Simmons dribbles towards Bertans as Matisse Thybulle runs to the top of the key to occupy Beal and to give Simmons some space to attack Bertans. Simmons drives left, dribbles behind his back to his right as Bertans, trying to draw a charge, falls down, and finishes strong. Embiid is being doubled by Bertans and Beal. Simmons cuts down the middle of the paint looking for a lob from Embiid, but Wizards center Daniel Gafford does a good job of picking Simmons up to prevent the lob. Embiid takes his time to survey the floor and sees Thybulle cut into the paint. As Thybulle does that, Gafford now switches onto him. And Sixers guard George Hill runs from the corner to the elbow outside three-point range, occupying Chandler Hutchison momentarily. Embiid passes to Thybulle deep in the paint with Gafford defending him. Thybulle drives right on Gafford, sees Simmons set up behind the defense. Beal is too late, rotating down as Thybulle lobs it to Simmons for the dunk. This is just simple basketball. Now that Simmons has done so much damage scoring inside, Washington is on high alert. Simmons brings the ball up and sees Ish Smith and Rui Hachimura in a mix-up with picking up George Hill or Simmons. Simmons doesn't hesitate. He drives into the lane again, drawing four Wizards defenders, including Gafford, who left a trailing Embiid. Simmons easily finds Embiid wide open at the left corner for the triple. Textbook basketball. Simmons is backing down Beal on the block with no Wizards defenders coming to double, fearing the shooting of Seth Curry, Tobias Harris, Danny Green, and of course Joel Embiid, leaving a one-on-one matchup for Simmons. Simmons misses inside, but Westbrook mishandles the rebound. The ball goes right to Danny Green. Green finds Harris coming back to the play, who then lobs it to Simmons for the two-hand flush. Simmons moves up court with a head full of steam, sidesteps Brad Beal, and dunks it home in traffic. This is just Simmons making up his mind to get to the basket, not worried about any resistance whatsoever. Simmons defending Westbrook. Bertans looks to curl Hachimura's pick towards the basket. As Westbrook looks to pass it to Bertans curling to the basket, Simmons gets his hands up and deflects the pass, getting the steal. Simmons passes ahead to Furkan Korkmaz, who lays it down. Simmons is a unique talent, and one who should be treated as such. I don't buy the whole Philly can't win with his shooting woes. It's been done before. Again, see Boston 2008 and Rajon Rondo for an example. Of course, he needs to improve his shooting. He knows that. However, that does not overshadow all of the aspects of the game: defending, rebounding, scoring, passing, leading, etc. that Simmons excels in. He most definitely doesn't. Simmons is an all-star level floor general. It's past time that naysayers start embracing Simmons for what he is and does instead of what he doesn't do all of the time. If you look at all the scouting reports of Philadelphia from teams across the NBA, I'm sure Simmons is always at the top of it.
All right, quick word from Ooze and Nas. As always, the man's loyalty program. It's really simple. $5 off with sign off. Earn 1 point for every $1 you spend and receive. For $10 discount every 100 points you redeem, plus $10 for your birthday month. It's never a bad thing. You got a summer birthday like me, so it's an even better thing. OozeandNaz.com. Get over there. Sign up for the loyalty program. Are we going to get to some of the prepared comments from – what kind of the comments from last show? You guys already know how that goes. Ray, what you doing? Confirm where you at, man.
Accept.
Look at you accepting for the last night of the season close. I see you changing it. All right. From Mike Taylor, we shouldn't be doubling Embiid. We suck at shooting threes. And here we are against a team that plays to a man who typically plays by twos. Stay disciplined on your matchup on the perimeter and just focus on not giving up open shots and running guys off the line. Brad and Russ can keep us in it if it's a 2-point shootout.
Oh boy. Yeah, you definitely should be doubling Embiid because you don't have anybody that can guard them by themselves. I mean, they're just not equipped to deal with Philly, period, defensively. They're not a very good defensive team. So, I mean, you just got to either upgrade your personnel or the personnel you have just has to be better. But yeah, it's never a bad idea to double Embiid. People just gotta rotate and get back out to shooters, but we see that's something that they struggle with. Yeah, the 3-point shooting was an issue. Especially against a team that's that good defensively and with their size and length, you got to find a way to space the floor. They weren't able to do that. But yeah, stay disciplined on your matchup on the perimeter and just focus on not giving up open shots. They don't have the personnel to guard them. All these schematics and suggestions are cool, but if you don't have the people to carry them out, it really doesn't matter. Yeah, you would need more than Brad and Russ to keep you in it against this team. They're the number one seed for a reason. They have multiple offensive weapons, and they're pretty good defensively up and down the roster. So, I mean, it takes a total team effort to beat them. So, we saw the results. It is what it is, man. Wizards just didn't have enough.
Oh, Cardell, did you have anything you want to add? My bad.
No.
All right. This one's for you, Cardell. People asking for Brooks to go from Sobin. People asking for Brooks to go. He got this undercooked and untested team to the playoffs. Got a win against the number one seed in the East. They got one of the youngest teams in the league. And even the second and third year players on the team after COVID hit, they're really a rook or second year player this year. Seriously, let the dude have a proper season. I guess he means off season where he can hold practices with these young guys and try to develop them, then make the call. This season should be a mulligan for all coaches' careers, in my opinion.
I agree. We've been saying it all year, and you know what I'm saying? Like, and they couldn't even practice this. I mean, it was a crazy year, man. For them to start the way they did, and then surge in the second half, obviously once Russ got healthier, and make it to the playoffs. The playoffs for them pretty much started like a month ago. Make it to the playoffs and even get a game off the top seed. I mean, what more? I mean, that should speak for itself as far as extending Scott Brooks and doing something that hasn't been consistent with the Wizards organization. Being consistent, having some sustainability where guys know where they are, they know the program is, they know what the staff is, they know the coaching, and they know the culture. Everything carries over year to year instead of getting emotional and firing this coach after 2-3 years and every what I'm saying, we pretty much all our lives we've endured that for what I'm saying, and it's just it hasn't worked. I mean, it just hasn't worked, man. So I feel like he's earned the right to team play hard for him. They're young. Now keep him. Obviously, Bill and Russ gonna be there unless they, something major happens and whatnot. Now it's on the front office to do their job and get some pieces here. Get some pieces that can help. Obviously, Thomas Bryant's coming back. Then he'll be healthy. Like you said at the end, some tough decisions need to be made. Is Bertans worth it? You feel what I'm saying? Because with what his shooting brings, does it equal what he gives up defensively and with his durability issues? Because he's seen to be always hurt too. You know what I mean? So you got, and I'm not picking him. I'm just speaking facts. As well as some other guys' projects that haven't quite blossomed yet. You know what I mean? So to me, outside backcourt, Rui, Gafford, obviously Thomas Bryant, Danny, you just drafted him. Obviously, like guys like that. Everybody else up for evaluation. Those guys, you obviously, they should come back. But everybody else, they up for evaluation. And only, if they retain Scott Brooks, only Scott Brooks and Tom and those guys, they got to make that tough decision. You know what I mean? But you don't want to go backwards and you don't want to stay the same because you're just wasting years off Bill and Russ' career or whatnot. So you got to get better in this offseason. It ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about it, man. So especially with the East, the way it's loaded, man, you're gonna still have to deal with the Nets. You're still gonna have to deal with the Sixers. The Bucks gonna be there, and you got some young teams like Atlanta done leapfrogged you. And y'all in the same division, they done leapfrogged you now. So, and the Pacers will be back healthy next year. You see what I'm saying? Young teams are always ready to emerge the following season. So the Wizards were fairly young overall. Let's just hope they one of those teams.
Ray, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Man, I just want them to extend Scott Brooks at this point so people can keep crying about it.
We're choosing violence this evening, of course.
Yep.
All right. This one for you. This is another comment from Sobin. Again, appreciate y'all for tuning in the whole time for Wizards Outlook. We appreciate y'all. And Sobin, again, your parting note is 17 paragraphs. I appreciate you. Big game tonight. Proud of the boys. I guess the 700,000 Washington, D.C. fans praying for Embiid to be injured. Finally got thrown a bone at least for a half. To be fair, though, we had Bertans injured, so that equals ... LOL, dripping with sarcasm here. He was like, I couldn't even finish the sentence. Seriously, though, I hope both players don't have any lasting injuries. Bertans scored 15, and he only allowed 10. I saw, so he was a net positive. Russ had another bad shooting night, but he was big in most other ways. Also, he kept the scoreboard ticking, hitting these free throws. Bill also had a good all-around game and really got aggressive. Huge tonight. BS technical, though. This is a man's game, not a kid's. Did he hurt Tobias's feelings? No. Bad call by the ref. Facts, though. If Embiid played 30 minutes, we would have got swept tonight. 76ers are stacked. Even their rooks played like 5-year playoff vets. Shaking my head. Still glad we won and the young boys got a positive playoff experience. Gafford was huge for us. Lopez also. That 15-foot hook shot blew me away. And for all the Bonga fans out there, yay, he got a solid 45 seconds before Scotty subbed his butt out of there. LOL. So, Ray, I think this is yours.
Yeah, man. If Embiid didn't get hurt, we probably not having this show tonight. And that's, it just is what it is, man. But yeah, I mean, they took care of business, with them out, which they, which was what they need to happen to have a chance. So, glad they got the one win. Tonight things could have gone a little differently, but overall Philly just top to bottom is just too much. Like you said, the young guys came in ready. Maxey, he was huge for them. He, like Cardell pointed out, and also you, Wilson, he gave them the shot in the arm they needed. They came out a little flat. Wizards were aggressive in attacking them. Max came in, kind of settled things down, and got some shots to fall, and it was on from there. So yeah, I mean, and also getting that taste of the postseason is always beneficial. I mean, you can't simulate that. Like, you have to go through it to know what it's like. So, they got 5 playoff games under their belt, so they know what the atmosphere is like. I mean, and even still, it's probably not even at its maximum level because the arenas aren't at full capacity. That makes a difference. at home and on the road. At home you get your fans giving you energy and life, and on the road their fans are bearing down on you. So yeah, but either way, man, good experience for them. Hopefully it won't be the last time.
All right, Cardell, anything to add? Or we moving on?
No, sir.
All right, for Cardell, I like Daniel in the starting lineup. He's good defensively, just needs discipline. And finally, Russell played his game. The man almost had a triple-double in the first half.
I mean, yeah, man. We all know he has potential, man. And I'm excited to see where he will be next year. I'm praying that his staff stays the same so he can get in the lab, with Atkins and then, their player development crew and get better. Add a few, just a few moves to his arsenal. He don't need much. Just basically being able to shoot from mid range. And you saw what Lopez did with the hook shot. Imagine him with that consistency shooting the hook. So you add those two things to him with what he brings defensively, guarding on the perimeter, rebounding, blocking shots. He could be a force. He could be a force with Thomas Bryant in the front court, and that changes a lot with the Wizards. Also, with him, he just needed to learn how to be disciplined, but you also got to factor in, even when he was with the Bulls, he didn't play a lot, man. Like, this is his first time really playing extended minutes like this, man. And you can teach, you can practice all you want, but the best teacher is being in the fire, man. And he, this was his first rodeo. Literally, when we just got to June, he got traded here in the end of March 27th or something like that, and he hit the ground running. So that's why his potential is so much, and people should be excited for him and excited about him in the future because he was just giving it his all hooping, but he don't even really understand what he's doing yet. You see what I'm saying? And once he does and be able to understand that and understand how he's, not to be bait into fouls and all that stuff like that, but then add skill to what he already brings, where he's he's more of an offensive threat and stuff like that, and he can be able to dictate some things, it'll be trouble. Him and Thomas Bryant, man, God willing, Thomas Bryant comes back fully healthy like he was before he got hurt, they could do some damage because they're going to need both of them to do damage, man. I don't know if people paying attention, man. Like, a lot of teams in the East got a couple, they don't just got one big, they got a couple bigs that could do a lot. So especially in their own division, they got to get through Atlanta. So you got Capella, you got Collins off top. And we ain't even get to the bench and stuff yet. So they're going to need those guys to be able to perform and play well together. And I love it, man. It's Thomas Bryant. He's an underrated passer with that high-low game, the lob threats that both of them, man, that just for them being lob threats, think about how they're going to occupy the defenses and defenders and bigs when Russ and Bill get in the paint. Because you have to make some serious decisions, and somebody going to pay for it. So, yeah, man, he needed to go through this, man. So, he just needed some experience, man. So, I know he's going to hit the ladder. He's going to be working, so I expect him to come back better. And Russell, yeah, man, he had a triple-double, man, but the same things that kind of plagued him just showed in the series, the decision-making with the ball and the shooting. He's always been a very streaky shooter. And sometimes, he leaves a lot to be desired with his decision making when he's passing the ball. I think at this point he is who he is. So it's kind of hard to get in the gym and work on that. Man, he about to be 33 if he's not already, man. So that's just something you got to live with, you know what I mean? Especially with what he does with his effort plays, throughout the majority of the game. I mean, the number's cool, but sometimes you just got to be more efficient, you know what I'm saying? Especially in the playoffs, because those possessions mean so much, as we've seen throughout the series. And no, I honestly, as we've seen throughout the entire playoffs, man, a couple bad possessions, next thing you know, you can be down 1 or 2, now you're down 20 in the heartbeat. And you're like, yo, how did this happen? So that's where, that's the area where he's always struggling and hopefully he can get better at that, man. But I mean, yeah, man. As far as Daniel Gafford, the future is definitely bright.
All right, Ray. I'm assuming you have nothing to add. Get to your last comment from the other day. Please correct me if I'm wrong. From Brandon Fields, Gaff has to start from now on. Develop him into a Rudy Gobert / Ben Wallace type 5. He's got the most upside of Wiz centers. All you, Ray.
Oh man, slow down. Just just because he has the most upside of will of our centers doesn't mean he has Ben Wallace upside. So let's just let him be Daniel Gafford, man. You know, he's a young kid with a lot of potential. Just let him continue to develop and learn. You know, there's no need putting all types of labels on him. Ben Wallace is a Hall of Famer. So Gafford's got a long way to go before he gets there. And even throwing Rudy in there, I mean, you know, Rudy's one of the top rim protectors in the league. You know, Gafford's got a long way to go before he gets there. So just let him develop at his own pace and be his own player. Everybody doesn't need to be compared to someone else. But yeah, I'm excited to have him. You know, he saved the season, to be perfectly honest. Wizards were dead in the water till that trade happened. He came, he injected life into the team. You know, he was exactly what they needed. You know, he gave us something that we didn't have since Thomas Bryant went down. So yeah, man. Hopefully he can stick around and he can develop and get better. So yeah.
All right, going to get into some of these live comments for like 5 or 10 minutes or so before we close down. Where we at? John Holden, who's always like the first one here. So what is always next year, the team had a strong start, but just fell back into their old habits with the defense and unnecessary turnovers. They let Philly get comfortable and come back. Followed it up by saying, just wanted to add that I love your analysis after every game. I wanted to ask each of you, what do you feel the team's plan should be for the draft? Should they look for more perimeter guys? Which one of you want to step up and answer that first?
I think they don't really have a choice. I think their front court, you know, the wing spot, that's the part of their roster right now. You know, the front court is fine. You know, you got Thomas Bryant coming back. You know, Denny's down there. You got Rui, and I think Rui kind of gonna slide into that three. Honestly, I think they've been grooming him to be that third. Play small forward. He proved this year that he could do it. Obviously, with Thomas Bryant coming back, him and Gafford, you know, I can see them starting in the front court if they do handle business, do what they're supposed to do. And obviously, we know what's going to happen in the back court. The wing depth is what hurt them because when Denny went down, you really didn't. You couldn't replace that. They really didn't have anyone to come in and make an impact from there, man. You know, that's why Neto was starting. You know, people was like, why are you going to 3-guard lineup? He's going with the best players that give them the best chance to win, dog. You know, and he just happened to be the next man up to help them fill that spot. Sometimes it is what it is. You know what I mean? So, I mean, yeah, if he had Kawhi Leonard or somebody, KD, to play the three, guess who would have been starting? You know, man, let's make sense here. He knows Neto, if anything, he gonna be out there putting up a fight. He's a vet. He knows how to play, and he's capable on both ends. So, you know, I understood totally what he was doing. He was confident in him. You know, you can't put Hutchinson out there. You know, you're not quite sure what you're gonna get with him, especially in the playoff atmosphere. That's not even fair to Hutchinson because he hasn't adapted as quickly as Gafford has. Obviously, like I said, Denny's hurt. Garrison Matthews, you know, and with all due respect, is the reason why he's been in the G League for most of his career, man. It is what it is, you know. So Bertans is, you know, when he was healthy, he was starting there, but you don't know quite what you're going to get with him. If he ain't hit shots, you're not going to get anything. Like I said, that three spots will hurt them, man. That's why Tobias Harris and, you know, they had their way. You know what I'm saying? So they definitely got to draft well in that area, you know what I'm saying? And get a dog, you know what I'm saying? They saw close what drafting well does. You don't have to necessarily get a star, but get somebody that's going to maximize their role. Look what we just talked about Tyrese, what he did. Matisse, another young player that played a hell of a role. He didn't score a bunch of points and all that, but you felt his impact, especially defensively throughout the series. Get somebody like that. You know what I'm saying? It need be because you're going to probably more than likely, unless the ping pong balls go their way, they're more than likely going to pick late in the lottery. You know, you got a chance to get somebody of that quality. And you know, honestly, with the draft, where they at now, they need to get somebody with some college experience. Get somebody that's been in college for a minute, not that one that done something. With all due respect, you know what I'm saying? They need somebody that's ready to come in and knows how to play basketball, which will help them hit the ground running instead of trying to groom them or whatnot. Now, Denny, when he healed, obviously with him being a high pick, that's kind of his spot to lose. He got to show it though. You see what I'm saying? So if not, you gotta roll with the best five out there. And right now, based off this year, because we don't know how they're going to improve. Obviously, you got the backcourt. I can see Rui moving into the three. And Thomas Bryant, you bring him, and you need Gafford in there to deal with these bigs, man. So I can see that being a star five, and then everybody else fighting for minutes on as a reserve.
Right.
Yeah, man. That perimeter depth, it hurt them tremendously. Of course, Denny's injury just threw a wrench in everything. And then, past that, like Cardell said, Bertans, if he's not doing the one thing he can do, he's practically useless, just being honest. Yeah, maybe I could definitely see next year Rui sliding down to that 3 spot. I mean, he's a capable perimeter defender, and his 3-point shot is improved. So he can definitely function in that role. But of course, they would need somebody behind him because he can't play 48 minutes, and that's where things got dicey. You talked about Chandler Hutchison and Garrison Matthews and Anthony Gill, like those guys. They're just question marks at this point. So yeah, you definitely need somebody to come in and ready to step into that role.
Yeah, and just to piggyback what you guys said, you don't have a choice because somebody that can contribute right away. They don't need to be a superstar or something that where 5 years ago you're like, oh my God, it was one of the greatest. Nah, get somebody to come help. Like right now, like you guys, like Cardell and Ray just mentioned, with what they have with the starting five, because of where you're picking, it's not likely you're going to pick someone who's going to rough a starting spot. So go get someone who can come and immediately help on that second unit that has more talent than what you're rolling out on the second unit right now. Prerequisite has to be a dog. Needs somebody to defend. And again, like you said, Cardell and Ray, look, they got to take that gap. You can only have so many reclamation projects as a whole on a roster, right? You got to make a step, right? So some of those guys, and this is not a knock on them, just y'all are asking what to do to kind of close the gap and get better, right? Cut down on the number of projects. Like, to me, you got your 2 lottery tickets, right? And possibly in Denny and Rui, and that's great. Go get you people that can contribute. Go get you the type of dudes that the Grizzlies drafted. Those type of guys that come in and just help, that are comfortable, like Cardell said, had college experience, that are very comfortable, come in on that second unit and contribute. You see what you need. You watch Philly, you watch some of the other teams where some of these late first rounders, even mid-second rounders on good teams, they contribute, and it matters. They lost Embiid, and we saw a whole bunch of kids come in and just wreck shop. It paid off. So for Washington, that's the challenge this offseason. And again, it doesn't begin and end with the draft. Some of y'all disrespectful with these Bertans trade requests. I'm not going to put them on screen. Share them privately. Y'all wild for that.
And the national champs, Baylor, they have more than wings. Y'all need to be looking at it. The front office need to be looking hard at it. They got a few that's ready to rumble and will be there around the time you pick, that's ready to come in, because they was in college for a minute. They dogs. You saw what they did. I ain't got to speak on that. So, yeah, all right, man. Look, I'll be looking at it. And all of them declare for the draft. So, yeah, they ready to come in. You ain't even got to say nothing. Just show them the playbook, and let's get to practice.
And essentially, that's it. Like Cardell said, say you're lucky enough. I don't know if Davion Mitchell going to be there down that far, but if there you get somebody like that, we could melt. I doubt he'll be. But again, if you get one of those cats, they come in immediately, gives you an edge on the second unit. Like, let's be honest, watching this series, there were times we just watched Philly punk people. It was what it was, and people couldn't do anything about it. You got to figure that out, man. And the other thing is free agency, however you want to go about it, man. And again, we talked about this the other night. That's why these decisions are so important. even to get in free agency and try to get some of these vets or whatever, need cap space, man. Like, again, it's a really big off season for the front office. That's really going to determine where this thing goes. There's a couple of different paths. And, those decisions that are made or are not made will have consequences in the near and in the very near future and the future in general.
Or if you don't look at Baylor, look at somebody like what's my man name from Michigan? His brother just left the Wizards, Franz Wagner.
Oh yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, it's wings in his draft that's like they're ready to come in and play. Go that route. Like you said, no more projects, man. I'm not about to throw no names out there now, man, but they got a couple. I'm just like, dog, they don't belong in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And again, this is just do our best to be honest here, and that's what that is. We watched a team tonight go down their roster, and there were NBA players, like legit comfortable NBA players that you felt comfortable enough putting out in the playoffs. That contributed. I remember that somebody was laughing at me about Korkmaz before the Philly series started. He did his job off the bench for Philly. Not a popular name, but I remember him knocking down meaningful threes tonight. Doing his job. Like, again, it doesn't have to be the sexy pick, the most exciting names. Go get you people that can contribute, man.
Exactly. Or it's a few in this draft. I'm just throwing out names, man. Yep. Like, Cam Thomas from LSU. Somebody just come in and give a bucket. You see what I'm saying? Like, I mean, the Ignite kids. They already against the G League. Look at them. You see what I'm saying? They like. It's wings, it's guards on that perimeter. This draft gonna be loaded with them. So you just gotta make the right pick that fit the culture what you're trying to build.
I'm trying to find the one that's not. It's actually kind of serious. Y'all are on one. All right, here we go. He was like just like a Danny Green type. If you could find something like that, I guess whether in the draft or free agency.
Yeah, that's cool. But you want somebody that can also put the ball on the floor too. Danny, but that's not Danny Green's strength. You know what I'm saying? He made a name. He made a role for himself, development as a great shooter from three, and obviously he played tough defense. But his weakness is if you can run him off the 3-point line, it kind of limits him. Now they need somebody more dynamic than that, because like I said, I doubt unless you acquire some free agents, you won't be able to go deep into your bench not going in the next year. So you need your top 6 or 7 to be strong.
Mm-hmm.
Man, this is also something he said. And again, this is the thing with that. It's a great idea, but those things aren't cheap. Things aren't cheap.
And bro, and you also gotta understand this, that they just want a chip. They're gonna go somewhere where they got another chance to win a chip. That's how it works. They're not about to come here like if they don't feel Washington's on the verge, they're not looking this way.
Yeah, so like even
real quick, Danny Green won the chip with the Raptors. Where you go? He went to Philly. Felt like he got a chance to win it with Embiid and Simmons, and he can still play his game. He can fit right in. There's a reason for that.
I mean, I'm looking at a list, just trying to see some guys that are legit unrestricted free agents, and
looking real bleak in there, ain't it?
Man, look, it's tough. So like this one's a pipe dream. Norman Powell has a player option. Say he declines it, he's not going to be cheap. And again, pipe dream, he's not going to be cheap. Just an example of how tough this is going to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, because of what you have currently with your money situation, you can't afford Norman Powell. So before this year, when he's having kind of a career year, I think it was like maybe it might have been 10 before this year. So it's going to be excess of 10. It might command $11-12 million. Man, Rashawn Holmes might be available, but we're talking about things that would be nice. But again, things that you need, that's more of a priority right now, is not Rashawn Holmes. So,
and I can't see him coming here at this point in his career because he's like, why am I going to settle for being a backup to Thomas Bryant and Daniel Gafford? You know what I mean? When I've done more in the league.
And he's just leaving the Kings. He's 27 years old. You want to try to go to a winning situation. You're just in Sacramento.
Or go get the bag.
Yes.
Do his thing.
Yeah, man, it's ugly. All right, so I don't have a nice way to say it. It's ugly out there.
Nah, they gotta do what Memphis doing. You gotta keep building through the draft. That's what I'm saying. So you want to draft well and develop who you got, and then try to win more games. Now you got practice time. You got guys that made the playoff run, so now everybody used to one another. Win games, and then that will attract free agents. That's just how it gotta go.
Even like someone like the lower tier glue guys, nah, they're restricted free agents.
What do they mean by lower tier? Give us a name. That's
so we got guys, not lower tier, but you got guys that are RFAs, Taylor Horton Tucker, Josh Hart, Diallo, Bruce Brown, Kendrick Nunn, the restricted free agents.
Kendrick Nunn will help, but I'm pretty sure he's trying to start. You know what I'm saying? Like, you understand what they are too, man. You can't just look at it from one side, man. He's starting on Miami. You see what I'm saying? Like, why he gonna come here and settle? If he gonna go somewhere and settle for a reserve, for a reserve spot, they better be on the verge of winning the championship.
Right.
It better be somebody like Steph Curry or something. You know what I'm saying? When everybody healthy next year. Or Clay or something like
that. Jalen Brunson's a team option guy. Like, look, you better draft well, and if you're gonna make some decisions, things have to be moved via trade. Look, it's interesting. It's gonna be interesting all season. I don't know what to tell y'all. You ain't got the money to go shopping. Like, I saw some people like, "Oh man, go get DeMar DeRozan." You know what that's gonna cost? And also, why would DeMar DeRozan at this current stage in his this current stage in his career, right? Here? Come on, man. Like, God. Deep breaths. Yeah. I saw somewhere early in the comments was like, Kelly Oubre. Let's say he does hit free agency. You think Kelly wants to come back here? And secondly, in a free agent class like this, if y'all couldn't afford Tim Hardaway Jr., you're not affording Kelly Oubre either. Like, man. Yeah, it's bleak. All right, so I ain't got it.
Yeah, not pulling Raymond Felton and coming back to the same organization. It's just not gonna happen. So, Warriors, I'm not gonna let him walk, but it's on him. What type of role he want? If they on the verge, they right there, but they could be right back in championship contention if they play their cards right.
And then the other people that might be guards and they command a big salary are people that play the same position. That's someone who's already making $44 million next year. So, again, just telling the truth and being honest here. So, and then secondly, even with that salary, because it's their option, they're not going to choose to come here without the other person moving. And look, man,
draft well, like I said,
draft very well, and then even with the draft well, man, scout well too, just in case things fall off the back of the bus too, so you can get out there and go get them. But it starts with drafting well. Hey, that's why Tommy got a fun offseason coming up. Decisions will be made, but that bottom part of the roster has to be improved.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a question. It has to be. It just has to be. Like, even in this series, we saw times where Philly was able to take, even with Joel out. They took Ben, Seth, Tobias all off the floor at the same time. They didn't die.
Man, look, what hurt the Wizards is Troy Brown Jr. not becoming what they felt he could. That hurt. When you get a lottery pick and a first round pick, and they don't pan out, that sets you back a couple years, man. Because it's hard to, especially like the Wizards really have to draft well because they don't have a pick next year. That went with the Rush trade.
Oh Lord.
So they gotta be on the money this year, unless they trade somebody to get those picks. And let's be honest, I mean, at this point it's probably only the 3 players worth of trade, and I'm not even sure they would even take Russ' contract at this point. You see what I'm saying? Just like Bill and Rui. Those only two players with value where you can trade and possibly get a first rounder back. Other than that, man, you're not getting that, man. So you gotta hit it. You can't miss on this because, like you said, like I said, Troy Brown with that not panning out, that hurt, man. That hurt tremendously. And in recent years, they've had that. Think about Vesley, how that hurt them. You know, I mean, you see what I'm saying? They was selling back for a few years, man. It's just you can't keep.
Do they have? My bad. Do they have both picks, both first and second round picks this year?
I don't know. I gotta check. I ain't go that deep. But even this, I'm glad you brought up second round. I was about to get there. Under the Ernie regime, I know this time he just really getting started. He didn't value second round picks. You just draft anybody and just keep them up. You see what I'm saying? It's just like, oh, what are you doing? Meanwhile, the rest of the league are valuing second round picks and they emerge into becoming great players and coming back and kicking the Wizards' ass. But he don't. You know what I'm saying? It's just.
The sixth man of the year this year was traded for cash considerations by this franchise. Like you said, man.
Yusuf, like Yusuf saying, he played a couple summer league games and that was a wrap.
And there were people available, man. Like, what was that the Bobo draft where Yusuf was there?
The who?
Was that the draft that had Bobo in it?
Probably.
In the second round when they kind of wasted that pick? I'm trying to remember. I can't remember. I'm not here. I'm going to go find out.
2018 and 2019. He was either the year before Rui or the same year as Rui.
I think it was the same year as Rui. I want to say it's the same year as Rui. Because I don't think it was with Denny. I think it was the same year as
Rui. Heck no, it wasn't with Denny.
Yeah, so yeah, it was the same year as Rui, which that was, again, throwing second rounders to the wind for no good reason. Meanwhile, good team second rounders are not that all second rounders become all-stars, but they can contribute. They can contribute.
Like Cassius Winston, you don't need Jalen Brunson because you guys like you got Cassius Winston in the wing, and I think that's who they're gonna kind of look to be the backup for Russell next year and stuff like that. You know, look, man, like guys like that, you would love to be your second round pick. You see what I'm saying? That accomplished coming out of college that season. He did his thing in the G League. I could see him being ready to go next year. So, and people not worried about him, and he just come in kicking ass. Like, you know, Russ need a break. I come in, hold it down. You see what I'm saying? So, because I think I saw Neto, Lopez, and Ish Smith for free agents. So, yeah, they're gonna need some youth movement to be. The youth movement gonna need to be ready to go. We can't wait on you.
Man said he better be.
I agree.
Yeah.
You better be.
Yeah.
Man, I always love Columbus. And I just trust Michigan State players because they don't come in soft. They come in know how to play basketball, man. They know how to be pros. So
and like you said, experienced college players. It's just not this difficult. I know everybody loves the lottery tickets. Experienced college players. You're out the business of lottery tickets right now. You can't afford it. Go get you experience. Someone who can contribute. All right. Like, technically, you know what? Who's still one of your lottery tickets? Bradley freaking Beal. Okay. Go get you people that can contribute. And you're in danger of losing said lottery ticket. You got 2 years left of that lottery ticket. You better make the most of it. So, you know, otherwise, dark times are coming. But thank y'all for hanging with us for that. For this season with Wizards Outlook. Obviously we'll have things there in the off season as needed when we get closer to draft. Obviously, free agency opens, things like that. But again, thank y'all for hanging with us through this, and look forward to doing it again next year. Still have Jones for basketball. Still got Mystics Outlook on that side of things, and obviously the Focus TV every Tuesday at 8 p.m. But we'll see you guys very soon. And again, if you haven't already, subscribed to the YouTube pages so you can have notification if and when we go live throughout the off season for y'all. So for Cardell, Raymond, and myself, y'all have a great night. Appreciate all y'all that regularly commented and tuned in.